Just on that, Midwinter, at Mawson you weren't far beneath the Antarctic Circle, so you only went about 3 weeks where the sun never rose in winter. How was it at Casey?
We had a good 4 months of very little or no daylight whatsoever.
Oh, right.
We didn't see as many auroras at Casey because it's below, south of the Aurora belt. Mawson, we used to see I'm so sick of auroras. I've had enough of them for a while.
The only, as I said in the last podcast, that Mawson one, the only guy I know that doesn't like auroras. Can you believe it?
They used to play hell with the radio traffic.
Yeah.
We would be out for one day, maybe 3 or 4 days. I think one day we were out for 6 days. No radio because the auroras. Incredible. It just goes like that.
Yeah.
And it just knocks you completely out.
Yeah.
Completely.
How was the temperature and the wind compared to, say, Mawson and Davis? With what was your weather like?
Our weather, as I said earlier, the wind always come from one way.
Yeah.
And that's why I blew over the top of the centipede and underneath. So we never had a great problem.
Yeah, but
It was
temperature-wise, was it a
temperature-wise, it was a lot warmer. Well, not warm. At least 4 or 5 degrees warmer than Davis and Casey. Davis, the Riviera of the south, always had a warmer temperature than the other 2 bases, Casey and Mawson. But at Casey, it wasn't too bad. I think Mawson, in my year, 1980, it got to minus 47. I think the maximum we had, or the minimum we had at Casey base was minus 33. That's a big difference. And it's the same wind going across, the same cold. But it just goes to show you 1,000 k's apart, 1,500 k's apart, different bases, different temperatures.
I remember when I visited the Russian base, Molodezhny, I was sweating.
Yeah.
It was so hot.
Really?
Because I'd been through an Antarctic winter. And I went there, and it was probably a similar climate, I would think, to Casey.
It is. Casey was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all 3.
Yeah. I used to find it interesting, a sunny day with no wind and blue sky.
Beautiful.
You could get around in your shorts and t-shirt, but you get 1 or 2 knots of breeze and wow, you start rugging up pretty quickly.
Exactly.
I'll tell you why. My year at Mawson base, I had KFC sponsor me. And our midwinter photograph is all us with cases and boxes of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Midwinter! Also, it was sponsored by Cadbury's Chocolates in Hobart.
We never got that sort of thing.
And you've got to have the gift of the gab. And they sponsored us. I saw them and they sponsored us. And each morning or late at night in our little pigeonholes at Mawson Base, our oik used to come out, Sid Kirkby, and put in a block of Cadbury's chocolate into your pigeonholes and a can of beer. Now that was a decent block of Cadbury's chocolate, you know. And I found out a little bit later on that if you were out in a minus temperature, really cold, just before you went out you had 2 little blocks of chocolate. Can be dark, could be light, could be anything, as long as there's carob in it. 12, 15 minutes later you can walk out in 0 on minus even that with shorts and thongs and not feel the cold.
There you go. It's a good reason to eat chocolate.
I like it. Straight away, I like it.
Like you need a reason, but
I don't need a reason. And I'm a chocoholic.
Were these dark chocolates?
No, we had everything.
Oh.
Light chocolate and dark chocolate and with mixtures, whatever Cadbury produced, boxes and boxes and boxes of it going down. And I couldn't get through it all.
And how was the food? Did you have a good chef, good cook on station?
We had all 3 bases had excellent chefs.
Yeah.
Because the chefs are chosen from, as you know, from all over the world. I don't know what the ratio was for a chef at Mawson, but for my particular senior radio and communications officer position at Mawson, there was 114,000 applicants from Australia alone for that one base. So the chef would have been close to it as well. We had a very good chef. By God, he can make some good bread.
Yeah. I always found it interesting. I felt sorry for the chefs because they're the only guys on station whose day's work is judged by everybody else on the station.
Correct.
True. Yeah.
Correct.
You know, you're working as a radio guy, nobody really knows what you're doing, but the chef, that's the guy who gets judged, you know. And so
My job, nobody had a clue what I was doing, so I was right.
Well, of course, the chef also has to cook 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And there's a slushy on the 7th day,
You got the
Sunday.
You got to go slushy duty.
where
and all
I
that
had to
stuff.
go slushy duty.
Yeah.
I can cook sausages 15 different ways for breakfast. 15 different ways for breakfast.
It was amazing what they did with the leftovers, wasn't it? They come up with all sorts of things.
I have to say, all 3 bases, the chef did superbly well.
Yeah.
Superbly well.
And you need to eat. I mean, you need your breakfast and morning tea. And
Burning up energy, you've got to keep warm when you get
Yeah.
get
And if
outside.
you've been out on a field trip, you always came back starving.
Yeah.
Always.
You did. You had to,
Yeah.
had to ration your meals that you're eating and what you're taking.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than being short miles away from the nearest IGA and Aldi. Definitely a long way.
What was the biggest event? Was it Christmas Day or midwinter dinner? What would you say is the big one?
Well, Christmas dinner was quite nice because it was bright daylight and all 3 bases. But midwinter, I think, of all the 3 bases I was at midwinter, I'd have to say Mawson was the best. Not because of the food, simply because we'd planned this months and months in advance, as you do with all 3 bases. But it was really a thing that we had to recover from for 2 days afterwards. I think we were off the air for a day or 2. The supply of alcoholic drinks
Off your tree and
was
off the
very,
area.
very welcome.
And if they did get to talk to you, they scratched their heads. What you were saying, is it?
Let's just say we slept in for a few days.
Yeah. At least you can leave a recorded message because you're the radio guys.
Yeah, we were the radio guy. And, look, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to transmit today. It went down well. I think they were prepared for it.
Yeah.
But Mawson, I have to say, was the best of the 3 midwinters that we were there. But I wasn't there for Davis midwinter, of course. But Casey and Mawson did very well.
Yeah.
And
Very
did you do Cinderella at Casey?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
I will not go into it too much to protect the innocent.
There's a lot of imagination went into the pantomimes and the.
Look, a lot of imagination, a lot of the stuff was passed on, the dressing and the headgear and everything was passed on.
Yeah.
It was something that went down and we were prepared for it and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You've got to have a break. It's half your year gone. It's something you look forward to and it went down well.
Just to give a setting for this, for those who aren't familiar with the Antarctic, every midwinter the same pantomime was put on, Cinderella, and the beautiful guys down there played Cinderella and the Ugly Sisters, and they played that better.
I think some of them had a bit too much makeup on though, Phil. Just,
You think so?
Yeah, just saying. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Right. I know I sent some movies back home and I hadn't seen them. And my parents said, you might have to censor this a little bit.
It is. You make your own fun, and
You do.
Whether it's a game of cricket on a nice day,
Correct.
you know, and that's what keeps it going, you know.
Yeah.
Of course you do. You're all down there for 12 months together, and you all get along. And midwinter is the high point of your year down there, no matter where you are.
Yes.
Midwinter is your high point.
That is-
Christmas and Easter, yes, that's just a day. You're miles away from the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, but midwinter you're all together.
We also made quite a big deal of Anzac Day over there.
There was no television in my day at all 3 bases. There was no television at all. But at Mawson in 1980 we did have the sound of a French television. We could hear it on my radio communications, but we don't know whether it was the Pacific, the French islands or France itself. But that's all we had. There was nothing like you've got today.
Yeah.
So we pioneered it all.
Do you feel sad now with all the old technology that, you know, the Morse Code and the telexes, and now it's internet, we've got email, we've got, you know, satellite, GPS. How do you feel about that, Peter, with the changing now?
Change has got to go forward. You don't want to go backwards. Edison pioneered the electric light and a few other things. If we hadn't have had that now, we wouldn't have got anywhere at all. So Morse code is always up here. It's always something I listen to.
You still remember it?
And it's something that I can remember it just like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And if somebody gave me a Morse code set, I would still send it right out. Now, even though it's about 40, 50 years since I did it officially.
Yeah.
But it's something that's instilled into you. It's a second language. And Morse code, the Q code, as we call it, is worldwide. I can send out a message to Russia, Finland, Norway, Arabic, Emirates, and it'll be understood immediately because it means the same thing in any language in the world. Yes, to answer your question, we've got to go forward. What we're doing now, we couldn't have done 40 years ago, but now we can. Progression.
And did you have the same system with the radio skids when you got to talk to loved ones? I was down there 40 years ago. We sit in the booth with a headset and the microphone, and Mum and Dad would go. I think it was the ABC that were organising it, weren't they?
They were. Yeah. We had, of course, all three bases have got the telephone box. We painted ours green in Morse, just to be different. There's no red telephone boxes. The one in Casey was just a room. We could shut the door. And Davis had one in their small radio. Their radio room in Davis was quite small. Just put a pair of headphones on. We'd read a book or something while they were talking. But that went well. And of course, as a radio ham, I had a lot of free messages back home, quite through the OTC. Of course, we went through Casey with the OTC, and the OTC was here in Perth, and they sent it out worldwide.
So
you radio.
Right, you could pick up on your ham radio quite well down there.
Oh yes, because you've got no high buildings.
Yeah.
Your aerials are straight up and down, and they would reach anywhere in the world. I'll tell you the highlight down there at Mawson Base one day, in the middle of Midwinter. I called up CQ, which means anybody hear me? And my call sign was down there, was VK0ST, the Society of Teetotalers.
Ironic.
And do you know, I got a bloke in Northern Arctic, clear as a bell.
Wow.
And I was speaking to him up there in the northern hemisphere. He was out there on a huge block of ice exploring this iceberg. So he's me in Midwinter here, and he's sitting on a block of ice near the North Pole. And that's one of the best contacts I've
further
ever
away
had.
than that.
Yeah, that's
He was
beauty.
absolutely fascinated with me sitting down here.
Pity you couldn't have got that recorded.
No, I couldn't record it.
That would have been.
It would have been good.
How often would you speak to, say McMurdo or some of the other bases? Do you
Didn't talk
contact
to
them at all?
McMurdo at all. The United States base at McMurdo was, I hate to say it, but snobbish. Snobbish. The only time they cooperated with us was when the flight from Air New Zealand went into Mount Erebus just after I got down to Mawson in early 1980. But they will not allow anybody to visit the station down there unless it's programmed through their system. The one guy that did it, and he was very welcome, was Dick Smith. He did the flight to Antarctica, and he actually landed at McMurdo Base, and I've got his book, and he shows you the South Pole itself is a pole sticking up right at the pole itself, the geographic centre, and all the flags of the world are around that pole. And you can walk around that pole in a minute and a half, and you've walked around the world.
There you go.
The actual tourist pole is about 1 kilometre further away.
It was probably originally put on the geographic.
It was. And you could walk around, and that takes you only 25 minutes to walk around.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
But
because the ice moves.
the ice moves. Yeah. We didn't talk to McMurdo. Other bases we didn't actually get in touch with. There was no need to. But we did have our radio skids and a bit of a ham chat and a few other things. We talked to Macquarie Island, we talked to Heard Island, see how they were getting on, and etc. Because you keep yourself busy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we were busy. I have to say that we were busy.
Was there action going on in Heard Island?
Yeah, there was a small camp of somebody or other doing something in Herd Island, an expedition or something there, and I think they were there for 3 months. We talked to them, make sure they were okay, and they were, but we were good. Our radio communications went anywhere in the world. There was no high buildings or anything to interfere with it. Good old radio, love it.
Yeah, it was a good atmosphere. It was very clear and clean, and
It was.
The radio skids were always reliable, weren't they?
Always reliable.
Yeah.
And we went out on what's called 14 megahertz with the tone, and that's how we sent our messages through on that tone straight to Met Bureau in Melbourne and the Antarctic Division in Hobart. And at Midwinter, when we took our Midwinter photo, I would send it off on that tone. It was a continuous tone, went 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's how you did it.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued how the ABC was involved in the radio skids when we got to speak to friends back home. Why did it go via the ABC?
I don't know why it went by the ABC, because all ours were OTC.
Yeah.
OTC. The ABC might have taken it over a little bit later on, but no, ours went through OTC.
Yeah.
And they were very, very, very cordial. Few free calls back home.
Yeah.
And
so you would have had the satellite phone. We had was it Inmast sat, I think.
we never had that at all in my day.
But we weren't allowed to use it. No, it was just the emergency.
It was an emergency. No,
that was
our emergency was simply a different radio frequency, 100 megahertz, which is the Antarctic radio emergency frequency. Now in Perth, we've got a radio station 100.1. So that's curtain radio.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's just off the emergency frequency, but their frequency, their radio power wouldn't reach Antarctica, so it wouldn't interfere with it. But
Communications can be everything, can't it?
communication in radio is still vital today. Most definitely. So I earned my pay.
Yeah. Are you still involved in ham radio?
No, I gave it away when unfortunately the Australian government wanted to restrict that frequency, 14 megahertz and 7 megahertz, which is the amateur frequency. They wanted it for something. So I just let my licence go.
Yeah.
I think that happened with the radio mics that we used. All those mics that you had were all redundant because they can't use those frequencies.
You can't use those frequencies.
Yeah.
The frequency band, which is pretty big, is shrunk completely now.
Yeah.
It's really right down.
I remember my grandfather, I was really young, he was doing his ham radio licence, and I remember it was a lot of work to gain a ham radio licence back in the day.
It was. You had to know a fair bit about radio engineering, a lot about radio frequencies, and other things, but I got my licence first go. So not a problem. And in those days you had to do, I think it was 8 words a minute Morse Code. We were trained to 30 words a minute. So I just rattled it off. Not a problem.
Look, we've covered quite a fair bit here. Now, are there any questions, Dave, that
I think I'm good, Phil. It was really interesting talking to Peter.
Yeah, so Peter, wrap it up. What interesting things haven't we talked about that happened to you?
We've talked about chocolate.
Yes, that's important.
Did we talk about chocolate? Or did I remember about talking about
I think we did.
Look, you can wrap it up. All 3 bases I have been on, and I have been fortunate. Very rare that an expeditioner has been on all 3 bases in Australia, and I have absolutely been delighted by what I have achieved, what I have done for Australia, because it's Australian territory, and I give talks, particularly here in Western Australia, Perth, to all sorts of clubs and organisations about Antarctica.
He got an award for that, folks.
I wasn't going to mention it. Did I mention chocolate? Did I mention chocolate?
Well, I'm just interested in the dark bit. So.
If anybody wants to go to Antarctica, there's several ways you can do it, but the most cheapest way is the flight to Antarctica, but you've got to book on it about 2 years ahead. The ship to Antarctica is brilliant. You actually step on board Antarctic Peninsula, what we call the pointy end. And that is something that a lot of Western Australians should know about. If you want to see an aurora, a good one, you go to Esperance, July or August.
During a magnetic storm.
During a magnetic storm, you just look down south and you will see an aurora. And they are magnificent. But don't take a radio because it'll play up something fearful.
I'm glad that you said the auroras are magnificent, because that's not what you said last time we talked about.
No, well, they are magnificent. I said I'd had enough of them, but they are still magnificent.
Right.
Did I mention chocolate?
Hang on.
No, I didn't.
No, I think you did. Okay, so now we know Peter Stickland loves chocolate. And anything else? Like, have you got a really amusing story we haven't heard yet?
Oh, yes, there was one.
Right.
Coming back from Mawson, arrived at Melbourne, and I arrived back with a wooden crate, fair size. Would you believe it? It was loaded with chocolate.
No.
Because, as I said earlier, our oik Sid Kirkby used to put a block of chocolate in each of the 18 pigeonholes and a can of beer. Because that was you know, keep you happy.
Yeah.
I never used to drink beer, I'm a whiskey drinker. So I used to swap my can of beer for a block of chocolate. Now you count up the cans of beer that I swapped every day for 12 months. Count up the blocks of chocolate, which I got for 12 months.
Yeah.
It filled a wooden crate.
And there's no chance of it melting. No.
I'll tell you the story about that too. My family drove across from Perth to meet me in Melbourne, and we hired a trailer to put my
Chocolate.
wooden crate on. This was in the middle of December.
Oh no.
Imagine what it was like. Fortunately, I was smart enough to pack my chocolate, hundreds and hundreds of them, into silver paper and protected it. We drove across to Perth, but firstly we came across a lot of the unmade and unsealed road to Sejuna, halfway across the Nullarbor Plain. Went to the border control there, and the gentleman there says, "What have you got in the back?" I says, "We've got a crate of chocolate." "Oh, you'll have to, you can't have that, you're not allowed to bring that in." I says, "No, I'm bringing it in. It's come through, it's Antarctic chocolate." "What's that?" And I had to tell him the story. And he, his companion, absolutely cracked up about this. "Just get out, just go, just go."
You didn't bribe him with a few blocks?
And do you know, not one block of that chocolate melted.
There you go.
Not one block.
There
I
you
lived
go.
on chocolate for months.
Yeah, still eating it.
I did mention chocolate, didn't I?
Did you have acne?
No, I don't
No?
have any of that problem at all. Not whatsoever.
Oh,
So that would be one of the highlights of music, of
that's a good
amusing.
story.
But I did enjoy, as I said, my year with the Antarctic Division, and it's a pleasure and a privilege now to be still with it after all these years. And my two companions here, who have been with me for this particular podcast, I thank them. And if you enjoy what you're doing, do it. It's as simple as that.
Peter, it's been a pleasure to talk with you again.
That's the time.
Braving all your tinkles and things that go on in this place. And Dave, thanks for joining me.
Our pleasure,
Yeah,
Dave.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been nice chatting.
Yeah, and I think we'll call it quits there.
Yeah.
Done.
So, thank you, Peter.
Thanks,
David?
Phil. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Keep eating chocolate.
and
That's it.
oh, got it in time.
You got it.